UFC 308 is this weekend, man, and I'm about to give my predictions on the card, man. I'm pretty excited about this one. There's some great fights, great matchups. Should be a lot of exciting fights as well on this card. And yeah, I'm not going to waste any more time, man. Let's get right into the first one. Rinat Fakhretdinov versus Carlos Leal. Look, man, I've talked about Rinat Fakhretdinov. I don't think the guy's good at all. Okay, when it comes to his striking, it's extremely sloppy. It's not good, and sure, he hits pretty hard, but that power's bailed him out of every single fight. Not every single fight, but his last two fights, Nicholas Dalby. If he didn't drop Nicholas Dalby in the first round, Dalby would have won a decision, and I picked Nicholas Dalby in that fight, so I was pissed. Ezequiel dos Santos, if he did not drop him in that first round, he would have lost that fight as well. Look, when it comes to the guy's wrestling, it's pretty good. His top control is good, but his ability to get you down is not that good. He's very strong and he's a big welterweight. And, I don't think his takedown entries are anything special. They're not really fast or really explosive. He's kind of just really strong. And if he can drag you to the ground, it's hard to get up, I will say. But I really think Rinat Fakhretdinov is extremely overrated, man. On the other side, you got Carlos Leal, a guy who fought in the PFL, a very good boxer, man. He's got really good straight shots, great pressure. He rips the body as well. In my eyes, he's a much better striker than Rinat Fakhretdinov. I do worry about the wrestling a little bit because I don't think Carlos Leal has fought anybody like Rinat Fakhretdinov with the top pressure and with that good wrestling because honestly, I think Rinat has good, wrestling, but it's not that good, okay? I'm going to pick Carlos Leal, man. I cannot pick Rinat Fakhretdinov moving forward. I do not like the guy. I don't think he's good. I think he gets bailed out of every single fight with that power. And I know it's crazy to say, but like I said in those two other fights, he would have lost those fights if he didn't just, flash drop those guys. And his striking fades. He fades as a fighter. I think the first round, if Leal can survive, will be tough, but I think he's going to put him on the back foot and rip the body, put nice combinations on Rinat Fakhretdinov and break him down. I think we could see a late third round TKO finish. I really do not like Rinat Fakhretdinov. I'm not picking him ever again. I think he's a very extremely overrated fighter, and as he moves up in the welterweight rankings, I don't see the guy, winning a lot. I really don't think he's good, man. You look at him, you go back and look, he's not explosive with the takedowns. It's not fast. It's not even like his entries aren't great. And on the feet, he's sloppy and he hits hard, but he's sloppy. I think Leal is going to get a lot better strikes off. And I think he's going to break him down. I'm going Carlos Leal, first pick. So, yeah. Bruno Silva taking on Ismail Naurdiev. Okay, so Ismail Naurdiev has been in the UFC before. He got cut, which is kind of weird because he didn't, go on a 3-fight losing streak. Or he was kind of a win one, lose one, win one. But he was really young back then. He's back. And I'm going to pick him to beat Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva, one thing I will say about this fight that could get Naurdiev in some trouble is he really likes to kick the legs, and Bruno Silva loves countering off the leg kick, so I could see Bruno Silva landing something big and potentially hurting Naurdiev. I've seen him get countered with the same exact shot, so I think that's a bit of a problem, but in the long run, I think the guy who's going to land more volume, have more, pressure. I don't think he hits as hard as Silva. Bruno Silva's never been finished before. He's a very durable guy. And as well as the wrestling, I think Naurdiev is a better wrestler. I think he can take Bruno Silva down if he'd like. And, man, the Bruno Silva that we've been seeing has been fucking atrocious, man. He lost to Chris Weidman. I believe he's lost 3 in a row now. That Weidman fight really opened my eyes, and he looked like shit. I believe he lost to Shara Magomedov as well. He's just looking really, really slow. It's not like that old Bruno where he fought Alex Pereira and kind of, went to a decision. It was a bit of a competitive fight. He's looking really, really slow. I think Naurdiev is faster. He's got great straight shots, good leg kicks. I think he'll get this one done, but I could definitely see Bruno Silva catching him, like I said, with something when Naurdiev kicks because he loves to do that. I saw him do it versus Shara. I've seen him do it versus Weidman as well. And, I saw Naurdiev get knocked out with it. So, I'm going to pick Ismail Naurdiev to win this one via a decision. I think he'll get a 29-28, drop the first round. I think he might get hurt, man. But I think he'll, scratch it out and get the volume up. I think he'll out-volume Bruno and beat him second and third round, get a decision win. Next up is Farid Basharat taking on Victor Hugo. Now, I'm going to keep this simple. I'm going with Farid Basharat. I really am high on the guy. I think he's a very, very good fighter. He's really technical. He's got fantastic kicks. He's very good at keeping his range and distance management. He loves to mix in that wrestling. He has really good wrestling as well. He doesn't hit extremely hard, and I don't see him finishing Victor Hugo on the ground or on the feet. but I think he can very much cruise to a decision. Victor Hugo is a guy that has pretty explosive striking. He hits pretty hard, and on the ground, he's no slouch. The guy in one of his fights I watched use a lot of submissions to reverse positions. So he is no slouch on the ground. With that being said, he is prone to being taken down. He can be taken down, but he's good at reversing and, getting up. But on the feet, I still feel like Farid Basharat is going to be better. He's got great kicks. He's very, very technical, man. I like watching him fight. He's very good at keeping the range. It says Victor Hugo is 5'7". Maybe he's 5'5". I don't really know what that measurement is. He's not big. He's very small. I think, when you're looking at a guy like Farid Basharat, he's really technical. He'll use the jab, the 1-2, the front kick, the high kicks. He's very good, and he knows when to shoot takedowns. He's coming off wins versus Taylor Lapulus and Damon Blackshear, who I believe are better than Victor Hugo, and guys that aren't easy to take down. Damon Blackshear is not easy to take down. Taylor Lapulus is definitely not easy to take down. I think he'll get Victor Hugo to the ground in this fight, score points on the feet as well as on the ground. I expect a dominant 30-27 decision from Farid Basharat. Kennedy Nzechukwu taking on Chris Barnett. Another fight I'm going to keep extremely simple, man. I like Chris Barnett. I think he's good for the UFC. I think he's funny, but he's facing almost a top 15 contender from the division below who is massive. He's going to have a massive, massive reach advantage and height advantage. Will Kennedy Nzechukwu, do I think he gets caught with a spinning kick? No. It's hard for me to see Kennedy losing this fight. If it goes to the ground, Kennedy's much better. And on the feet, Kennedy's very chinny. But dude, he's got like a massive, massive height and reach advantage. He's going to be the harder hitter here. I think he'll get this one done inside the distance via submission or KO. It's hard for me to see Chris Barnett winning this fight unless it's like a crazy, crazy blitz or something, but I don't see it happening. I think Kennedy's going to go out there and win this fight very, very easily. So I'm going Kennedy Nzechukwu via finish. Abbas Magomedov taking on Bruno Ferreira. I really like Bruno Ferreira, but I'm going to have to lean Abbas Magomedov, man. I think Bruno Ferreira's last performance wasn't that impressive. Dustin Stoltzfus is a kind of a can, and Bruno didn't look that good, man. He took obviously the finish was crazy. It was awesome, but he didn't really look that good. He was gassing out a lot. He was kind of, falling all over the octagon, very wild. Abbas is a lot more technical, and I think he's better everywhere the fight goes. Obviously the cardio is an issue, but I don't think Bruno Ferreira's got that good of cardio or even, the fight IQ to push the pace in the second and the third, because I think he'll be tired as well. And when it comes to the technical ability, I think Abbas is a lot better. He's got a very good push kick, and he's a very good striker as well as I think he's better on the ground as well. I think if he wants to, he can take Bruno Ferreira down and, beat him up on the ground or do whatever he wants. I really do think Abbas Magomedov is going to come in and win this fight. And I know he's a bit of a meme. He has a lot of gas tank issues. But when it comes to the dude's skill set, he is levels higher than Bruno Ferreira, in my opinion. I do think he has a very good skill set. He hits pretty hard, good snappy shots, a very good push kick that he'll use a lot. That'll be very beneficial for him in this fight. He's going to be a much taller guy here. He's coming off a win versus Warlley Alves where he looked pretty good. He wrestled a lot in that fight, and I think it would benefit him to wrestle Bruno Ferreira to take away some of that explosive ability, because I do think he, is a better wrestler, because Bruno has a good judo background, but we haven't really seen him get tested on the ground. So I think if Abbas comes in with a pretty good game plan and kind of tries to slow Bruno Ferreira down with the takedowns, I think he can pick him apart in the second and third round. I really am liking Abbas Magomedov to win this fight, so I'll be picking him by a decision. Myktybek Orolbai taking on Mateusz Rębecki. Man, this line has grew a lot wider than I expected. I'm picking Mateusz Rębecki to win this fight. I think, he's going to put Myktybek Orolbai on the back foot and pressure him with body shots and, beat him up, man. I really do. I think if you're giving me plus 250 on a guy who I know can go out there and win at least a round, I'm going to pick him and bet on him any day. I will be betting money on Mateusz Rębecki to win this fight. I think this is being extremely overlooked. Myktybek Orolbai is a fantastic fighter. I will not lie. But people think this guy's just going to come out here and take, Mateusz Rębecki down really easily, especially in the first round. I don't see Myktybek Orolbai taking Mateusz Rębecki down for more than 30 seconds. If he does, I will be shocked. Mateusz Rębecki has very good scrambles. He's really, really quick. He's got really fast hips. He's got a really extensive wrestling background. I think he could be doing the taking down, okay? But nonetheless, I think he'll be able to scramble back up, especially in the first round. I don't really understand this line, man. And I know a lot of people have been taking Myktybek. I don't like him. I think he's good, but I don't think Rębecki is. I think Rębecki's better. I like Rębecki's boxing. And, last time out versus Diego Ferreira was a bit of a shaky performance. But Diego Ferreira does that to guys. He outlasts them. He's, very durable with a great gas tank. And, Rębecki hurt him bad in that fight, thought he had him out of there. And he didn't, and then he got beat up pretty bad on the ground. But he was there the whole entire fight, right in his face. This guy's going to put Myktybek Orolbai on the back foot. I expect that to happen, and I've never seen Myktybek Orolbai on the back foot. I've never seen what he can do on the back foot. He's got really good straight shots that he'll use. He hurt Elvis Brenner a couple times with them, but he's not moving back at all. Elvis Brenner was like a statue just pressed up on the fence, just sitting there and letting Myktybek Orolbai do whatever he wants. And when I saw someone take command of the center of the octagon like a Uros Medic, it didn't go that way. Uros Medic was able to hurt Myktybek Orolbai early and cut him open, and eventually Myktybek got the takedown. But I don't think Rębecki – I think Rebecki's much better on the ground. I really don't understand this, and I think Rebecki's going to come out here and get a very impressive win. I love his boxing. I love the volume, and the cardio is a bit of an issue. But let's not act like Myktybek Orolbai was fresh against Elvis Brenner. He wasn't. He was tired as well. I think with this really high pace of both guys – both of them are going to be gassed out. And I don't really understand what this line is. Sure, do I think Myktybek Orolbai has better cardio? I do. But when it comes to the striking, I don't think it's close. Rebecki's got fantastic head movement. He will get in your face. He'll find a way into the pocket. And I don't think, he's going to have issues with the wrestling, especially early on. I really don't. I'm picking Mateusz Rębecki to win this fight. I think he'll win bigger moments. I think he might finish him, man. Rębecki is being extremely overlooked in this fight, and I will be surprised. I'll tell you this right now. If Myktybek Orolbai comes out there and 30-27s him or finishes him early on in the fight, I'll be shocked, honestly. I think Rebecki's really game. I think this is not as easy of a fight as people think it is. So, yeah, man, I'm going to go with Mateusz Rębecki to win this fight. I still believe in him. He's got really good head movement, great, boxing, a better boxer than Orolbai. And Orolbai has power on those shots. But if you're moving backwards, your chin is up in the air typically. And Rebecki's going to be ripping that body apart. I think Rebecki's going to get this one done via decision. I'm going with Mateusz Rębecki to win this fight. Geoff Neal taking on Rafael dos Anjos. I'm going to go Geoff Neal here, okay? Rafael dos Anjos is moving up and down weight classes, and he's going up against a guy like Geoff Neal, who is very, very big. He's a big, massive welterweight. I remember seeing something about Twitter in the Ian Gary fight, what Geoff Neal rehydrated to, and it was like about 190 pounds. In my eyes, I think Rafael dos Anjos is going to come into this fight maybe, 175 pounds. I don't think, he's big at all. And especially if he's trying to get takedowns versus Geoff Neal, it's going to be extremely, extremely hard for him to do that. We've seen Geoff Neal struggle with guys who have really good footwork, fast, and can move in and out of the pocket really quick. Can Rafael dos Anjos do that? No, he can't. He's 40 years old, and he's never had that style. I think Geoff Neal's going to have a lot bigger moments. I think he'll be able to get Rafael dos Anjos out of there. And I just think dos Anjos is just old, and he's moving up and down weight classes. Never a good sign. He looked okay versus Gamrot, but still not great. He ended up dropping Gamrot in the first, but who hasn't? But Geoff Neal's a big guy, and I really think Geoff Neal's going to come in here and put on a good performance and, beat Rafael dos Anjos. I could see Rafael dos Anjos taking the game plan of moving around a lot. I just don't think it'll work. I think Neal will be able to cut off the cage and catch him because he's not fast. He's not like Wonderboy. He's not like Ian Gary. I think Geoff Neal's going to get this one done via TKO round 2. I'm going with Geoff Neal to win this fight. Ibo Aslan taking on Rafael Corquero. I don't know if I said that last name wrong. I'm going to go with Rafael Corquero here, man. I've watched the tape on the guy. He has not fought anybody good, and he's debuting. But Ibo Aslan is dog shit, and I really do believe that. He was first fight was against Anton Turkalj. Very lackluster, man. He looked like shit. He was supposed to be the better fighter. He was getting tagged up a lot. I don't think Ibo Aslan is good at all. He's got a pretty powerful right hand, some decent low kicks, but the guy sucks other than that. And I think when I watched Rafael Corquero, he is 34 years old, which concerns me because he's a little bit older. He trains with Jailton Almeida. I think if he wants to take Ibo Aslan down, I think he might be able to. But on the feet, I still think he's better. He's very light on his feet. He's, big as well. Ibo Aslan is very big. But as Rafael Coqueiro is going to be the bigger guy, in my opinion, he's really flashy. He likes these flashy techniques. He's got really good kicks. He's extremely patient, but he's going to be faster here. And I think, Ibo Aslan might be able to land something big. But from what I've seen from Ibo Aslan, he's not impressed me at all. From his Contender Series fight to his first fight, I think he's looked like shit in both of them. I think his skill set is very mediocre. And I think if Rafael Coqueiro wants to take him down, I think he can. As well as on the feet, I think he'll win on the feet. So I think Rafael Coqueiro is the right fighter. I do not know why the fuck this is a featured prelim. It makes no sense, but I'm going to be going with Rafael Coqueiro to win this fight. I think he might get the finish, but I'm going to go with the decision here. Shara Magomedov versus Armen Petrosyan. Man, I'm going to go with Armen Petrosyan here. I think he's a much, much better boxer with better cardio here. I think, early on, Shara is going to give him some fits a little bit with the kicking. But Armen Petrosyan's a guy who lands a lot of shots. When you look at the striking differentials, Shara does land more technically because he's fighting Antonio Troccoli, who just fucking stood there and didn't move at all. So he's just landing leg kicks. Armen Petrosyan is landing a lot of shots, high volume shots on good fighters. Gregory Rodriguez, he's beaten. Christian Leroy Duncan, he's beaten. I think if Armen Petrosyan wants to engage in the wrestling, I do think he's better there as well. Shara Magomedov got taken down multiple times by Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk doesn't wrestle. He's not a wrestler at all. Armen Petrosyan, I know what camp he's at. It's a pretty good camp. They work on wrestling. I've seen him take down Christian Leroy Duncan. And Armen Petrosyan is going to be the longer guy here. Troccoli was landing shots. I know Armen Petrosyan is going to try to take those kicks away, be on the pressure. He's got good footwork. I think he'll be able to cut off the cage. We might see a very rigged decision here for Shara Magomedov, which kind of sucks because nobody really knows who Armen Petrosyan is. But I think when it comes to the skill set, man, Petrosyan's got better boxing. You don't even see Shara really, punch that much, right? He's more of a kicking in and out style, and Petrosyan can counter that. I'm very confident in. I think he's going to win this fight. I think he'll take over the second and third round. I got to go with my gut here, man. If a rigged decision goes Shara Magomedov's way, it is what it is. But I'm going with the better skill set and who I think can win this fight. He's got better experience against much, much better fighters. In his losses, he's getting taken down. Caio Borralho took him down. Rodolfo Vieira took him down. And he's not a guy you want to stand up with. So he's a good striker. And, if Caio Borralho and Rodolfo Vieira were to face Shara Magomedov, they'd take him down just the same way. But I believe, Armen Petrosyan has a better gas tank. I think he's got better counter shot boxing. I think he's going to outvolume in the second and third rounds. I think Armen Petrosyan's the right pick here, man. I don't know. I think, the line is okay. It's decent. I think Petrosyan should be an underdog. But I just feel like we're going to get a rigged decision here, which kind of sucks. But I think Petrosyan will be able to control the second half of the fight with combinations, with the volume. And I'm picking Armen Petrosyan to win this fight. Dan Ige taking on Lerone Murphy. I'm going to go with Lerone Murphy here, okay? And I'm not really sold that much on Lerone Murphy. He is, I know people don't know, but the same age as Dan Ige. But this guy's a very good athlete. He's very fast. He's big as well for the weight class. I think if he mixes in the wrestling, he will cruise to a decision. I think Dan Ige has really good boxing and really good power, but I worry a little bit about the volume. I don't think he throws enough to especially win a decision. He's going to have to rely more on big moments, in my opinion, because he doesn't really like to pressure you into the cage at all and land combinations. He's more of a guy looking to counter shot you with overhands and hooks, and he keeps a very high guard. He's not easy to hit. And we saw it in the Lopez fight, man. He's going to be there in front of you the whole fight. Lerone Murphy's coming off a very, good win versus Edson Barboza where he was able to take him down. And, Lerone Murphy has very good takedowns. I think his takedown entries are fast. They're explosive. And I think he might, in this spot, be able to get Dan Ige to the ground. He's much, much bigger than Dan Ige. He's taller. He likes to use that jab, get in and out. Do I think Dan Ige is going to land some shots, counter shots? I do. I do think Dan Ige's got the timing and the ability and boxing skills to land counter shots on Lerone Murphy. I just don't know if they're going to be hard enough because Lerone Murphy, he's a big guy, man. And, Dan Ige was able to sit down Feely, and Feely's chin's kind of in the air. I think Lerone Murphy's better. I think he's more athletic. I think he'll be able to mix in the wrestling here, jab at range and kick. I think he's going to win this fight, man. I think it'll be a decision here for Lerone Murphy. I'm not a fan of the number personally, but over the time, I do think who's the guy who's going to land more volume and have bigger moments and takedowns. I do think Lerone Murphy will be able to do that. I don't believe in Ige's ability to have a lot of volume. He doesn't throw that much, and Lerone Murphy's good at getting in and out of the pocket. I think he'll jab, move out of the pocket, and just stick him with range shots, and I think he'll win this fight via decision, so I'm going with Lerone Murphy. Magomed Ankalaev taking on Alexander Rakic. Man, I'm excited for this fight because I think people are going to find out how good Magomed Ankalaev is. Look, I don't like Magomed Ankalaev. I'm not a fan of him, but I respect his skill set because it is elite, okay? On the feet, he's going to be better than Rakic. No doubt in my mind about that. Do I think Rakic hits harder? No. Do I think, the leg kicks could add up and be a problem? I do. What worries me about Ankalaev is his ability to get going, especially on the feet. He's sometimes a little bit tentative, but when he goes, he's very, very good, okay? He's going to be the faster guy. He's going to be the better boxer. He's going to be the better striker here. And I don't really worry that much about the kicks of Rakic, as well as Magomed's going to be the better guy on the ground. I know the odds are minus 360 to Ankalaev. Do I think that's a little bit outrageous? I do, a little bit, but I think, more the minus 270 works for Magomed because I really do believe in the guy's skill set. I think he's the best light heavyweight on the planet right now, man. You go back and watch his fights, man. He's very, very good on the feet. He really is. He's got really fast kicks. He's got a pistol of a left hand, a very good check right hook as well. He's a good fighter, man, and I think there's no denying that. And to me, I think he's going to have the cardio advantage. I think the ability to take over in the later half of the fight. I don't really like Rakic's cardio. His volume slows down a little bit. And look, man, he's not going to be crashing forward like Yuri, being willing to get hit with those kinds of shots. I don't really know if Rakic has a chance here, man. I think he's pretty good, but I just think Ankalaev is so much better, man. I think Ankalaev is going to smoke him. I really do. And I know a lot of people have been saying Rakic can win and this and that. I think, you're getting more value on a guy like Mateusz Rębecki because I think Rakic is going to get smoked by Magomed Ankalaev. I'd be surprised if this fight was close. I really would. I really just do believe when it comes to all the skill sets of martial arts that Magomed Ankalaev is better. He's not as big, but I think his technique on the wrestling is better. I think his technique on the boxing is better. He's much, much faster. He's got way better footwork. I think he's going to beat the hell out of Alexander Rakic, if I'm being honest with you guys. And I haven't seen a lot of people saying that. I see a lot of people saying Rakic is going to keep it close. And I think it's a little bit of the recency bias after the Yuri fight, man. He has not looked good before that Yuri fight, man, really. And, Ankalaev is not going to just fucking stand there like Yuri Prohaska was and eat shots with his hands down, okay? Magomed Ankalaev is going to smoke this dude, man. I really, truly, truly believe that. If you think the leg kicks are going to be a big problem, I would advise you to go watch and learn about Jan Blachowicz and what his game plan is. His game plan is to kick your shin to shin, all right? And Magomed Ankalaev was checking the kicks of Jan Blachowicz, and Jan Blachowicz didn't care. He just kept kicking his shin. And what are you supposed to do in that situation, right? So I'm a firm believer in Magomed Ankalaev's skill set. I really do think he is the best skill set in the light heavyweight division. I don't think anybody gives him a close fight. I think he absolutely smokes Ferreira, and I think he's a very, very good fighter, and I expect him to get this fight done easily. 30-27 decision or, a finish via knockout. I think I could see a big check hook landing for Magomed Ankalaev. He's got a nasty one. I really am a high believer of Magomed Ankalaev's skill set. I think he's fantastic. He smokes Pereira easily, and he smokes Prohaska. He smokes Hill, which I'm high on Hill. I think Hill's very good. I think he beats Hill, dude. But I think Hill gives him the hardest fight. And I know I'm going to pick Magomed Ankalaev to wipe the floor with Alexander Rakic. So yeah, for the co-main event, we got Robert Whittaker versus Khamzat Chimaev. I posted a full breakdown on that fight, so you guys know I'm picking Robert Whittaker to win, okay? I've seen Khamzat. He looks like he's been, taking this camp serious. I still think when it comes to the stylistic matchup, I don't think he's going to win, okay? I don't like the technical ability on the feet, and I think Whittaker's going to stuff the takedowns, man. I think on the feet, it's going to be a masterclass from Robert Whittaker. I think he'll land jabs. I think he's going to jab the face off of Khamzat Chimaev. I talked about my ability, or Khamzat Chimaev's ability to counter strike and how much I don't believe in it, because we see Robert Whittaker get caught with counter strikes by good counter strikers, okay? And I don't believe that he's going to get caught with anything like that. You know, obviously that jab could be a problem, but Rob's durability is not great. But I think the footwork and the movement is going to be way too much for Chimaev, as well as this is the first kind of natural 185er that Khamzat Chimaev has faced, or someone that is actually as big and strong as him, okay? And I think it's going to be tough early for Robert Whittaker, but I expect him to get this one done. I talked about it, man. I think he's going to win a 49-46 decision. I do think he will break Khamzat Chimaev. That jab is going to be very important. And we might see a 1-2 head kick. I don't know, maybe later on in the fight. But I think Robert Whittaker is so skilled, and I do believe in Khamzat Chimaev's skill, but I just think Whittaker is so much more skilled on the feet. And I think he's going to get it done, man. I really do. I know he's been focused really hard on this fight, focused on the opponent. He's had a long, long time to think and train for Khamzat Chimaev. I think he's going to come out here and put on a great show. Very impressive performance. I think he'll 49-46 Khamzat Chimaev. The main event, Ilia Topuria defending his belt versus Max Holloway. We'll be seeing and hearing, and still, Ilia Topuria is going to go out there and shut Max Holloway out and knock him out in the third round, all right? I think I talked about this the most, but these are the key things that I want to take away. I think Max Holloway stands in the pocket too much, okay? He lands combinations in the pocket too much. He's going to get caught. He's going to get countered with big shots. You've seen it in the Poirier fight. You've seen it, as a matter of fact, any fight Max Holloway's been in, where he comes into the pocket and blitzes in and sticks around too long. And Ilia Topuria is so fast. His hooks are so fast. I think he's going to catch him with something big. And as well as I do believe Ilia Topuria is going to be shooting takedowns in this fight. I think he's going to take down Max Holloway. That's a side of his game that we have not seen that much. I know it's there. I know his ability on the ground is extremely good. He's very good on the ground. I have talked about this, and I know I'm repeating myself. I think Ilia Topuria has the best skill set in the UFC right now when it comes to all the things that he can do. He's got it all. He's got the power. He's got the speed. He's got the grappling. He's got the jiu-jitsu. He's got the wrestling. There's nothing that this guy does not have in his game. His defense is great. His leg kicking is great. Really, I mean, I think he's the skill for skill best fighter on the roster. And a guy like Max Holloway, I don't think is going to have enough to beat him. I do believe that this is the hardest matchup for Ilia Topuria in the featherweight division. I still think he's going to make easy work of Max Holloway. I don't see it, man. I don't see it, man. And I got to, I like Max, and how could you not? But Ilia is a better fighter. He's better. He's in his prime. I don't think he's going to be easy to beat. I think if Max Holloway wants to win, I don't even know how I'd see it happening, honestly. But we've seen it before with Max. He's been counted out before. And I'm very, very excited to see this fight. But I have to go with Ilia Topuria to win this one. I think he's going to get a third-round TKO. I think in the second round, we'll see Ilia Topuria shoot a takedown. And Max is going to be thinking about it too much, and he's going to get caught with a big overhand right. And I think that'll be the end of the fight. I'm going with Ilia Topuria to win this fight via a third-round TKO. I hope y'all boys enjoyed. I'll catch y'all in the next one.